Howard decided we were going to do something that had never been done on radio before. Convince a woman to get naked on the air. Just because none of our listeners could see what we were doing didn't mean we couldn't be titillating and push the envelope. He announced the contest and we had 3 women call in who wanted to do it. It really didn't take much convincing. I took their numbers, called them back, and set up the times for them to come in the next day. Before the show that afternoon, Howard pulled me aside and said, "Listen, this isn't a circus, okay? I want you to put newspaper over the windows. Do not let anyone who doesn't need to be in the studio get inside the studio." "Absolutely," I said. We went on the air. The girls were inside, and it was crazy. The way Howard described them was brilliant. You didn't need to see them to get a clear picture of how good they looked. A steady stream of people, mostly the other young producers and assistants, were coming to the door trying to get into the studio, and I told all of them to turn around. That wasn't too hard. But then the lawyer I worked with every day came by. "I need to get in," he said. "I can't," I said. "Howard told me not to let anyone in." "I am the lawyer," he said again calmly, but more forcefully. "You need to let me in." "Why?" I asked. "Because," he said, "I am the lawyer, and I need to see if there's anything indecent happening in there." I don't know where I got the balls to say what I said next. "Well," I said, "you don't really need to see if something is indecent. You need to hear if something is indecent. If you want to, you can sit across the hall and listen on some headphones." He was pissed. He stared at me, and then he audibly grunted and turned on his heels to go listen to the show. Afterward, I told Howard what had happened. He told me I did the right thing, but 2 other things happened because of it. 1, he saw that I had his back. 2, I saw that he had my back for having his back. There were no repercussions for what I did, and I realized from then on, in any dispute between Howard and management, I was always going to side with Howard. If I had to put my eggs in one basket, without a doubt, they were going to be his. Even after that incident, though, I still wasn't sure if I had a full-time job. I've been working on the show for nearly a month, and I was literally counting the days until those 4 weeks were up. I figured Howard and Fred were too, and then we'd have a conversation about how I was doing, what I needed to do to get better, and whether I had a long-term future at the show. The show ended at 6:54:30 on the dot, and at the end of every day I would grab the drum and the cymbal and walk back to Howard's office with him. We do some small talk about the show, but by the 1 month mark I was too anxious. I just blurted out, "So what's the story?" "About what?" he said, kind of confused. "About me. You guys told me I was being hired on a temporary basis for a month." "Well, it's been a month. Am I hired?" He looked at me like I was an idiot. "What are you talking about? You got the job." So in a short reading there, it gives you a little bit of, how I grew up, some stuff that's happened on the show that everyone's been interested in, how I made it to the show. So I guess at this point, because it's not like I do this every day and know how it goes, I wish John Hine were here. He's so much better at this.